You know, the best part of my weekend is talking with you. I'm John Zidar. This is On Top and Hot, and this is the weekend of December 13th. Now, what I normally like to do on this show is to share a hot penny stock with you. You see, I'm a day trader, and I primarily trade stocks under $5 every day. But on the weekends, I like to do something different. I like to share my own personal trading insights with you, information I think can help. And today I want to focus in on a particular oscillator, the ADX. That is the Average Directional Indicator, also referred to as the Average Momentum Indicator, the Average Strength Indicator. The ADX is one of my favorite oscillators for one primary reason. It gives us a lot of information, but it gives us clear, concise signals that I can rely on and actually use during the trades. So I've got a lot of different charts I'm going to share with you because each one shows us a different aspect of the type of information we can get from the ADX. So let's jump on into that right now. I got a lot of information to share with you about the ADX, and I have tried to organize it as best I can so that you don't get confused. Now, the ADX is one of my personal favorites. I love it because it gives me an abundance of information. It tells me things about the chart that I really don't see too easily, but it gives me very clear and defined entries and exits for my trades, which I love. Now, the ADX has been around since 1978. It was developed by a very famous trader by the name of Wells Wilder. He's created a whole bunch of oscillators, including the average true range, which I've never heard of, the parabolic SAR, never used it, and the relative strength index. We all know that one, the RSI. Just made a video on that last week. Now, the ADX is one of the most popular technical indicators being used on the market today. It helps us identify if the chart is trending or ranging. What I mean by that is it climbing or falling? That's a trend, one way or the other. Or is it just going sideways? That's called a range, like open range chickens, right? They're running around on flat ground. Now, ranging doesn't necessarily mean it is flatlining. It could have some ripples in it, some ups and downs, some bumps and jumps, but overall, it's still just going sideways. It's not trending up or down. But the ADX on its own does not tell us if a stock is rising or falling. That's not its primary purpose. Its primary purpose is to measure the strength and the momentum of the trends, telling you how much strength is there in this climb. How far could this climb go? Isn't that a question everybody's always asking? How far do you think this is going to go? Well, that's what the ADX can help you answer. Now, of course, like any other indicator, the ADX is best used in combination with other indicators. Don't solely rely on it by itself. So let's take a look at what the ADX indicator is. The ADX itself, not the simplified version, the ADX itself is made up of three lines. The ADX line itself, which is the simplified version. Some trading platforms, when you add the ADX, all you get is this black line. Yours may be yellow or blue, I don't know. But you only get the ADX line. There are two other lines that are actually with the ADX. That is the positive directional movement indicator, obviously the green one, and the minus directional movement indicator, the red one. They figure the ADX line out by calculating these two lines together. Not that it's important, but the way they do that is they take the PDM, the positive moving directional indicator, and they take the current high and subtract the previous high. That gives them one number. Then they take the minus directional movement indicator, and they take the previous low and subtract the current low. That gives them their second number. Then they take those two numbers and average them and calculate them together, and voila, you've got yourself your ADX line. Now, something you need to understand about the ADX line itself. Forget about the green and red. The ADX line is only there to measure the strength of the momentum. Do not get it confused with the direction of the trend. Just because this is rising, it is not telling you the chart is rising. This is telling you that the strength is rising on whatever trend is on the chart currently. Well, in this case, we've got a downtrend, and this was climbing. Now, this graph on our ADX starts on a floor. There is absolutely nothing below 0. That is the floor. It is the absolute weakest at 0. 100 is its absolute highest. You can't go any higher, and that is as hot as you can get. Now, this is a very interesting oscillator because it hasn't got a subjective hot cold zone. It's got a defined line. It's at 25. Now, not all of your brokers are going to put this line on the chart. I can't draw one on TOS. It won't let me draw a line there. But we know where that line is. It's at 25. Anytime this black line, your ADX, well, actually any line, anytime these lines are under 25, it's called ranging. Hasn't got any strength, not to fall, not to climb. It's just going sideways when it's under 25. When it gets up over 25, it's already hot. It's not warming up, it's hot. This is cold, this is hot. It's just like that. When it gets up over that 25, it is getting hot, folks, right then and there. Now, this can go all the way up to 100, but by the time this line hits 50, it is a raging fire. 50 is super duper hot, folks. And if 50 is only halfway to 100, you can imagine what happens when it gets over 50. So when any of the lines are underneath the 25, it is weak and ranging, going sideways. We're normally not interested in that stock. When any of the lines are above the 25, you have a lot of strength coming into the picture. Got that? Okay. So let's move on to another chart here to get another aspect of information about this. I want to put this right into your mind so that you don't get confused. I used to get confused a lot. We are looking at a chart that is only using the ADX. We do not have the positive DM or the negative DM here. No red and green line. Just our ADX. You can see the ADX is underneath the 25 here. It's weak. Strange thing is, you can see the trend is falling right here. Even though she's down in the weak area, we do have a fall. So I'm not going to say this is 100% accurate, but it's a very good tool nonetheless. Now, what I'm pointing out here, we have a climb, right? We're down here in the range zone, cross the 25, and we get into the hot zone. Well, this strength is for this downtrend. That was the trend currently on the board when the strength was increasing. Over here, we have strength increasing on our ADX, but it is with regard to an uptrend on the chart. So the ADX does not tell you what direction the trend is going, but it shouldn't be too hard for you to figure out. You can look at the chart and see she's in a downtrend. You shouldn't need this graph to tell you that, right? The other thing you're going to take notice of here, and this one is pretty abrupt. They're not always this abrupt. When the line changes direction, it's changing the direction of its trend. We were in a downtrend here, even though she was rising. She then stopped that line direction and changed direction. Up, now down. What happened to our trend here? It ricocheted. It stopped falling and immediately started climbing. It changed its trend. Again, you see here, after a period of ranging, okay, she has her ups and downs, but she's really just going sideways. You can see she is underneath the 25. Now, honestly, it doesn't matter if this line is down here at the floor or up here or just underneath the blue, if it's bouncing or going sideways. If it's underneath the 25, it's ranging. So she's going sideways doing nothing. Then she broke out of the range zone into the hot zone and was climbing. Well, that was in a downtrend. Then she hit a ceiling, changed direction on her ADX. What happened? Changed direction on our trend. You change direction on your ADX, you change direction on your trend. How convenient is that? I've got some more charts. Yes, I do. Let us jump over here. Please excuse the blurriness, but the information is clear as a bell. I told you that the chart does not tell you when a stock is rising. It is telling you when the stock is moving and how much strength there is in that movement. Now, I want you to understand the way to read the strength. Here's our ADX. It says we're down here at 20 and it's falling underneath 20. So we're in the range zone right here. She starts climbing from 20 to 30 to 40. Now she's going sideways. Unlike a chart, sideways up here does not mean weakness. Think of the ADX as a car and the line is the gas pedal. We're down here at 20 miles an hour, ranging, not getting far very fast. Then we start stepping on the gas, 30, 35, 40. We're doing 40 miles an hour and we're maintaining 40 miles an hour, right? We're going sideways, maintaining. We're not slowing down. We're not getting weaker. So whatever trend was getting strong here is holding that strength. So what do we see up here? The uptrend got strong and continued growing. While she was flat here, she was growing here. Now she fell down underneath the 20 here. She's underneath. She is going sideways. That does not mean that the stock is going sideways because the line is. Why is it going sideways then? Because it's ranging. It's underneath the 20. The stock goes sideways underneath the 20, 25 down here, no matter what your lines are doing. If it's underneath the 25, you're ranging. Then we get some growth here. We're going from 20, pushing up, pushing up. She leveled out right here. If you go straight up, you can see that's right there. She leveled off, held that strength for a while, and now she's curving down, getting weak, and now the trend is changing since the direction of this changed. So you can see how when she comes from the floor into the sky, she's flying. She has a lot of speed to keep herself in the air, so that is helping your stock to climb. With me so far? All right. Let's move on to the next piece of information, and this is key. I love this one, folks. We are now using our positive and negative DMs, our directional movement indicators. When you have a crossover, when the green line is underneath the red and crosses over and makes that X, we got an X right there. The red is going down, the green is going up. There is a power shift here. What's at the top of the ADX? Strength and power. What's at the bottom? Well, the zero is. Right, no strength, no power. So the red is going into no power. The green is going into power. This is a buy signal because this is telling us the chart is about ready to climb. Now we have a directional indicator. When the green crosses over the red and gets on top of the red, we know we have an uptrend started. What happens when the green crosses down over that red? Well, exactly what you would expect. It starts to fall, and that would be a sell signal. Comes back around and crosses over that red, starts to push up. We have a buy signal. Now, I got one more chart for you. This is a real one. We're over here at my free trading platform, Thinkorswim. We're looking at Amazon, ticker AMZN, but it really doesn't matter what stock it is. We're not even going to concern ourselves with the prices. All we're looking at is the chart relative to the ADX. And let me tell you, folks, there is a lot of information to be gleaned just from this little slice of chart here. So let me acquaint you with what you're looking at first. Up at the top, obviously, you've got your chart. Underneath that is my first oscillator. This is my volume. Below that is my PPO, percentage price oscillator. The PPO is akin to the MACD. They're cousins. You read them both the same. Blue line on top of the other line, you want it climbing. The difference between the two, the MACD uses the full price. The PPO uses a percentage of the price. Now, personally, I like the PPO better, but they can be different, and the differences can make a difference in how I read the chart. So I do keep both of them. And then, of course, I've got my reliable RSI at the bottom. Here in the middle, I've got my ADX, and I've got all three lines. We've got our simplified ADX. Remember, this does not tell us the direction of the trend. It is only measuring the strength of the momentum of the trend on the board. Then I have my negative directional movement indicator and my positive directional movement indicator. So let's look at this chart and see what we can learn. So we've got a downtrend. She came right down to this point and all of a sudden had an abrupt change and went into an uptrend. So that's going to make it easy for us. I'm going to draw a line right there. So we have two parts. We have a downtrending side and an uptrending side. Let's go compare our ADX one to the other. Looking at our downtrending side first. First thing you notice is our negative line, our negative directional movement indicator, the red line, is on the top. Our positive line, the green line, is at the bottom. What's at the top of the ADX graph? All the strength, all the power. What's down at the bottom? A big goose egg, 0. There's no strength or power down here. So without even looking at the chart, I could look at the ADX and tell you that this stock is in a downtrend right now. What's more, I'm going to draw another line right there. I could tell you that the downtrend that is on the board right now is getting stronger. This is at 1, climbing all the way to 80. So whatever trend is on the board is growing in strength. So I know my downtrend is growing stronger. Now my downtrend is growing weaker until it hit this point and changed trend. All of a sudden, we're in a different game, just like that. And I had a heads up this was going to happen. When I look at my other indicators, my PPO, I don't see anything there. My MACD, not really. My RSI, there's nothing going on. But here, I was told the downtrend was very strong, and now it was getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And then right here, what do we got? A crossover. We have our positive DM crossing the AD. Past that, we have another one, and this is my buy signal, when the negative DM crossed the positive DM and came underneath it. The green line went up to the top and went into power. We had an uptrend starting. Boink, I am in right there. Now, when I see my green line climbing and I see my ADX climbing, that's like hitting turbo boost with my foot on the gas. You know you're going to start climbing hard and fast. And we're getting a nice uptrend here, breaking through the 200 and continuing on, floating on our 9-day MA. Now, something I want to point out here to you, because it may confuse you if you notice this later. Look at our green line. It is way up here, virtually at the ceiling. It's at 99. So we got a lot of strength in our momentum, and we got a burst right there. Well, our line came back down and pushed up to 80. This is 80 right here, but look at the size of this jump up there. That is a humongous explosion, and we were only at 80, not 99. Why did this jump so hard on less momentum strength than this one? The difference is all that volume. That is always a factor, folks, always. There was very little volume here pre-market. She gave it as much as she could give with the strength she had. But bring in more volume, you don't even need that much strength to get a good rip going. Now, while we're here over here at Thinkorswim, I want to show you how to add the ADX to your charting, because it's not as easy as you would think it would be. I can't help you with any other charting platform because I've never used any other charting platform. So up here, we've got two flasks. One says studies and one doesn't got anything next to it. Click the one that has nothing next to it. We're going to click our studies right here, and ADX is right up at the top. Click ADX, click Add Selected, and then click Apply. That is going to put it down here at the bottom of your charts. Now, when it comes onto the board, all you're going to have is your yellow line, a simple ADX. There is no plus or minus lines with it. I tried all the others, the ADX breakout, the ADX crossover, the ADXR. None of those brought those positive and negative lines up, but they can be put there. And this was a little tricky. What you've got to do is come down to the D's, and you've got to look for the plus and minus right there. We have D minus and D plus. Each one you have to add individually. Hit D minus, hit Add Selected, hit Apply, then come over, hit D plus, hit Add Selected, hit Apply. Now you are going to have three boxes down here. You're going to have your ADX, you're going to have your positive DMI and your negative DMI. Well, you've got to grab those boxes and drag them up into the ADX box. That's all you do, is grab the box and drag it up there. So you're going to grab both the DMI plus, the DMI negative, drag them into the ADX box, and ultimately you're going to end up with all three of them in one box just like that. Hopefully that helps you. So let's take an overgander look at what we've learned about the average directional index. First off, it is perfect for letting us know when the stock is going to be ranging, going sideways. If you're underneath 25, you're ranging. Not a whole lot to consider. When you're over 25, you're trending. You're either falling or you're climbing. It also measures the momentum of that trend. So now you know how strong the trend is instead of wondering, should I get out now? Should I get out now? How far do you think this is going to go? The ADX is letting you know that information. Last glance, look down here. This is a one look tells it all. I can tell you what a chart is doing just by looking at the ADX. If I see all the green lines are up at the top of the ADX, I know it is in an uptrend. If I see that the lines are crossing each other over and over, lots of crosses, she's ranging. She's not getting anywhere. If the ADX is under the 25, she's going sideways. If it's over the 25, she's either falling or climbing, but she's moving. If I see either of the directional movements cross the other one, that's a trend reversal right there. Right there. That's a buy or sell signal. And if I see all the red lines at the top, I know it's in a downtrend. Folks, this is very simple to read without even looking at the chart. The signals are clear and precise. I love this. It is one of my favorite oscillators, and I'm thinking if you start to use it, use all three lines, you're going to love it too. But do your own due diligence, folks. You know I didn't cover it all. Remember, the more you know, the more you're going to grow. See you, folks.